Welcome back to the Southern Scene. It's time now for our legal scene. You know, when people are injured by negligent, reckless, or intentional acts of others, this is known as personal injury. Injuries can be severe, life-altering, and sometimes even fatal. There are laws in place to protect victims of personal injury. Still, how do you know what to do, and even if you have a claim? We decided to ask our legal expert, Mark Tate of Tate Law Group, about that. And now Mark Tate joins us of Tate Law Group. So Mark, let's talk about some different types of personal injury.
Okay. You know, that's what our firm does primarily, and you know, it's really divided into a lot of different areas. And so when people think of personal injury, a lot of times they think of things that sort of have a bad connotation, like they think we're only talking about, you know, a slip and fall case, or we're talking about car wrecks. But really, anything that happens to you that hurts you physically is a personal injury. And so what our firm does and what we focus on is helping people who are, you know, not companies, not corporations, not insurance companies, but just regular people who are going about their business doing nothing wrong, and a product or an event happens to them that's not their fault, that hurts them. We have to show that whoever hurt you had a duty to you. And in general, for example, in a car wreck case, we all have the duty to exercise ordinary care in the operation of our vehicles. And so if we do something that is simple negligence, and that is we just run a stop sign because we're looking the wrong way, that's just simple negligence, and we're going to prove that the person who hit you and hurt you was just ordinarily negligent, and all we have to show is that they deviated from whatever the standard of ordinary care is. Now, if somebody is intentional or reckless, then it's a whole different world, because in the state of Georgia, we've put a cap on punitive damages, and the most that you can be punished for simple negligence is $250,000.
What about intentional acts of others?
If you intend to hurt somebody, there is no cap on punitive damages. Not only is there no cap on punitive damages, but that intentional act would tend to indicate that you are going to be more closely held accountable for compensatory damages. Now, the problem is that when we allege that you have intentionally hurt somebody, your insurance is most likely not going to cover you. Now, that's not always true, and sometimes you can make claims against your own insurance company, uninsured motorist coverage, or an umbrella policy, which we strongly suggest everybody have. But if somebody intentionally harms you, unless they have substantial assets, recovery against them is going to be difficult, because most people don't have the kind of money to pay damages to fix somebody once they've hurt them badly.
Let me ask you this. Let's just say a hypothetical. Someone's in a grocery store. They slip and they fall.
Yeah.
And, you know.
What should they do?
Yeah, what should they do?
Well, get up.
Maybe well, I know they should get up. But I'm just saying, I mean, if somebody slips and falls in a grocery store, but let's say they don't file anything. I mean, they just get up, they finish, you know. But they start having some issues the next day or the next week.
That becomes more difficult. We take cases like that.
I mean, what if something's not documented? I mean, are you screwed at that point?
You can have a problem if it's not documented, but you got to remember that Publix, Walmart, Target, just about every grocery store is well video monitored. And when you fall, if something happens and it's a foreign object on the floor that they should have known about and gotten up before you encountered it, and you couldn't encounter it with the exercise of ordinary care for your safety, then you have a lawsuit, and you don't always know immediately if you are hurt. It just happens that way. You know, older people fall, you know, they don't realize that they have hairline fractures in their hips. They don't realize that, you know, maybe a disc has been injured and is bulging. You know, they don't know all the time. So it takes a little time sometimes.
So what do you do if that happens?
Yeah,
I mean, you slip and fall or something like that. What should you do?
You should report your fall. You should report the incident. They'll investigate it. They'll take a report of it, and we can get a hold of that report. We can get a hold of videotapes and see what happened. We have cases like that right now. But with regard to a delay in having realized that you're injured, or a delay of treatment, you know, that's up to us then to go and talk to those medical doctors and get an understanding of, you know, can they relate what is wrong with you to a fall? And we know, and doctors know, they treat injuries, and they have skill and training and experience, and they've seen injuries, and so they know exactly what can cause things, and they know what's consistent with.
Well, what about court? I mean, do most of these cases end up in court, or do they settle? And do you always have to appear in court?
Well, most people, I mean, the fact is that 98% of all civil cases settle before trial. It's our philosophy here that you won't get fully compensated, and you can't play by your rules, play by my rules, until we file a lawsuit. Because you see, the civil justice system in Georgia, those are the lawyers' rules. These are the rules that we figured out how we're going to run claims and administer civil justice, and that's what I like to play with. Those are the rules, that's the rule book that I like to have at my fingertips, because that's where we're experts. Insurance companies, until a lawsuit is filed, they think they're playing with their rules. And I don't like their rules, because their rules were fixed to hurt our clients. And so I like to file the lawsuit. Now, will you have to testify? You may. Will you have to go to court? It's possible. But until you're playing with my rules, where I can force you to tell me the truth, and I can force you to give me documents, and I can protect you from intrusive interviews, and we have actual admissible evidence that's under oath, I don't think we can get you fair compensation. So when you hire us, we file your lawsuit, and we're in court, and we're playing with our rules, and that means the other side's got to play with them too.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mark.
Thank you.
If you'd like more information on personal injury, or you have a specific legal question you would like to ask Mark, we want to give you that opportunity to talk to Tate. All you have to do is send us your question or your message. Go to our Facebook page, The Southern Scene, or our website at WSAV.com. Don't go away. We'll be back with our entertainment scene right after this. Stay with us.